playoffs, I guess if you want to consider the play-in playoffs, have already started. The actual playoffs, legit basketball, I'm kidding, will be starting up for us here in about a day. We've got one more playing game for continuity's sake. That's got to happen tonight, but it is both the seed that's going to go up against OKC and the Cavs. And I think Kevin and I both agree it's not going to matter who ends up playing either of those teams.
No, but can we get some quick predictions quick for both of them? We got Memphis and Dallas, and we got Atlanta and Miami.
At this point, I have to complete the full on, just absolutely destroyed a team with my fandom. So I need the Mavericks to win and get that 8 seed.
That would be remarkable in spite of everything. And honestly, a notch in Anthony Davis's cap as well. Memphis was, oh God, what a roller coaster that playing game against the Warriors. It's like they were getting crushed for most of it, come all the way back and still lose. Yeah, I do think Memphis is, I mean, you're going to curse them. I do think Memphis is going to win tonight. I picked against the Heat last time around, and now I feel like a fraud because I'm like, I can't pick against Spo again. I feel like Atlanta should win that game, but I'm going to pick Miami instead.
I'll go Atlanta. I think Trey gets it done. But crazier things have happened. Like putting your faith in the Hawks is not something you really feel good about. So
yeah, that's a very up in the air game. And I mean, Trey got ejected against Orlando. Granted, the game was well out of hand at that point. Like you said, I mean, we'll get into full previews of those respective series, but don't think it's going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. But we're going to start kind of for that reason, for the chalkiness reason. We're going to warm up with Eastern Conference. We're going to dive right into it. We're going to save the West for after the intro because the West just, I think from top to bottom, these series each are a little more intriguing where, spoiler alert, I think 2 of these in the East are going to be pretty fun. And I think 2 are going to be over kind of quickly. But so let's just go in order. Yeah. You want to just do 1-8, go 2-7 and down the line?
Sure. We can go 1-8.
All right, so Cleveland and either Miami or Atlanta. Let's get a number right away.
I think this is a sweep.
Yeah, I'll give Cleveland in 5 at most, but I kind of lean sweep with you as well. Look, the Cavs have been the best offense in the NBA in the regular season, rated-wise. It feels like they're finally all clicking together. For the Cavs, I mean, I don't want to just automatically look past this series, but this is, they're one of those teams, namely Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell is one of the guys who has a lot at stake in these playoffs. For as good as he's been, the end of Utah, there was a little bit of disappointment. This Cavs core hasn't really gone that far together, but I also think this is the best Cavs team since Donovan Mitchell's been over there, as seen in the regular season. Again, I think they're really well coached by Kenny Atkinson. I think you want to see Donovan be the main guy here. Obviously because you're getting the supporting contributions from Garland and Mobley. That's what we've been begging for in the past. You pretty much got that all season long. Yeah, I mean, it's conference finals or bust. The good news for the Cavs is just, again, you have such a great favorable bracket, right? You got to feel good about them in this first round series. You're going to get the winner of Indy and Milwaukee, which I don't think is going to be a slouch, but that I think has to be a winnable series for this Cleveland team. And then from there, like you said, maybe you hope that if Boston and New York, I guess, spoiler alert for who I'm taking in both those series, but if they beat up on each other a little bit, you're going to have home court. Those are the reasons you got to feel positive, at least.
And I almost want to save it because it is one of the Ballin and Fallins that we'll talk about. But if you're the Cavs, do you almost want them to if it's going to be Milwaukee that comes out of the Pacers Milwaukee game, do you almost want it to happen faster so that there's a lesser chance Dame's involved?
I mean, yeah, I also just frankly, no matter if Dame's playing or not, I would love for Milwaukee to advance from Cleveland too. Because again, I'm just giving all my picks away right away, but it's look, I think Indy's going to win that series. I think Indy's a better team than Milwaukee is. And again, they're just seasoned, which sounds crazy to think about when Milwaukee won a championship in 2021. But again, we'll get to there in a little bit, but they've kind of been running in place for a bit.
Yeah, and just to put a cap on it, the Cavs, the best offensive rating in this season, and the third best defensive rated team for this season, and then net rating also has them about the third spot too. So they were obviously a really good team. I mean, when did they take over the number one spot in the East? I mean, I feel like it was like maybe within 20 games to the
It
start
was
of the
pretty
season.
much off the rip. Yeah, they ran the
never looked
regular
back.
season sprint from start to finish.
Didn't they go on like a really long win streak? They went on like a 14-game win streak or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, you were close. You were trying to will that what was it, that 30
at
gamer at the end of the season?
Yeah. Listen, we were trying to pull out a crazy victory here.
Get them right up there with the, the 96 Bulls and the, 17 Warriors and all that.
OKC wasn't far off. They had 68 wins. I mean,
yeah.
They were pretty dang close. It's worth mentioning that OKC did end up passing the Cavs in terms of best record in the league. They did end up at 68. The Cavs were at 64. Not that really matters anything for playoff wise, but a little bragging rights, I guess. So yeah, I think we both agree. Cavs take it easy, regardless of what team's coming out, and seemingly might have a good path here. So then we go to Boston and the Magic, and I had to break it to Chase's heart. I also think this is at most 5 games.
Yeah, best case scenario for this is 5 games. Like unfortunately you're not going to get a ton of analysis from us in these first 2 series because I haven't spent as much time. Like Boston is just a better team right now, and I mean Orlando, it doesn't help, isn't at full strength. Like obviously Jalen Suggs is going to be missed tremendously this series, and as he's been missed, Orlando played great ball down the stretch, and I thought there was a really impressive play-in win for them, especially because in the play-in win, Paolo and Franz were kind of bad for the most part. Like they won that game because of their supporting cast. It was Wendell Carter being great. It was Cole Anthony being the offensive spark that they needed. It was Anthony Black. Like those are which you got to feel good about. And those are guys that played a lot of minutes down the stretch for them. So, Orlando's feisty. I'm going to give them a game just because, Paulo will have one of those games. But like this Boston team is super complete. They're the defending champs for a reason. Like I think they have more depth than Orlando does. The only way that I think this is going longer is it's just you got to monitor Jaylen Brown. Like Jaylen Brown is the one thing to keep an eye on, but I think that's a later Brown problem potentially, not a first round problem.
I also will point out the perk and the plus to say to Orlando Magic, like you were alluding to, they were playing phenomenal down the stretch. In the last 15, they are the best defensive rated team in the league. Boston, though, is 7th. So like that isn't enough of a makeup for the Celtics being the third best offensive team than Orlando. I don't even see them on here yet. They have them at 19. So it's like it's just not gonna. They're young. It's Boston.
It's like we're talking about, it's like Just you're talking about Orlando turning it on down the stretch, which is absolutely true. But it's like so did Boston. Like Boston flipped the switch from March. Like Boston looks dangerous. Yeah, I mean, pending health. Health is the only thing that I can get in the way. But yeah, I think Boston. And again, I hate saying all this. We know how I feel about the Celtics, but I think they're coming out of the East again, and I think they got a really good shot at winning it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am pretty much with you, though. I do want to lead, and maybe it's too chalky, but I do kind of want to lean the Cavs way a little bit, but.
I would love for the Cavs to beat the Celtics. I would love for anyone to beat the Celtics, but I would love for the Cavs to beat the Celtics. And I mean, it'd be fun. It'd be a bit of a new faces in the final type deal too, because obviously Dallas isn't, I don't think they're going on that miracle run this year.
That would be crazy. I don't think
it'd be insane without Kyrie. And I don't think Dallas fans would know how to process it.
I don't think anybody would know how to process that.
It would be unfathomable. And I mean for Anthony Davis, it would be like hella, and Klay Thompson too, low key, who were both phenomenal in the play-in, by the way. But yeah, that would be, you want to talk about some like late career boost if that were to happen on the legacy meter. No doubt about it.
All right, so Bucks, Indiana Pacers. I think this one will be more electric.
We're just skipping Knicks and Pistons right away. You're blowing 3-6.
On my side, they have I get what you were doing. On my side, they have Pacers Bucks sitting at the top of the bracket, so I was working my way back up. But you're right. We should hit Knicks Pistons, but I might have slighted them a little bit. So take that with a grain of salt, I guess. It's also kind of because I even think in that one a little bit, I'm just like, yeah, the Knicks are going to win it.
Wow, so you're still down the Pistons too. You want to give them some bulletin board material.
Yeah, put it on the bulletin board, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be like the Knicks are just more talented than the Pistons are, so this shouldn't dare. Like, I don't get me wrong. I think the Knicks are going to win this series. I think the latest it's going is 6. I think there's a chance they wrap this up in 5. I don't know, man. Like, Detroit should, on paper, get crushed in this series, but that's kind of been the theme all season, right? It's like, look, you wonder beyond. Everyone knows Cade is great. Like, Cade is great. This has been the breakout year. Like, he's finally like really looked like the number 1 overall pick he was a few years ago. It's just about the depth though that is all, because again, you look at this roster and you're like, how is this working right now? Like, how is this team as competitive as they have been? But hey, with the heater that Malik Beasley is on, like with the toughness that guys like Ron Holland and Isaiah Stewart have brought to them, like, you got to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. I don't know. They're just competitive. Like, I like the way they're playing. They've got good vets with Hardaway and with Tobias, as much as I hate to say it.
Let me ask you this: which team has? And I'm genuinely, I'm not like trying to bait you into anything. I have a thought, and I am curious about this. Knicks Pistons game. Which team has the best player on it?
That is interesting. Because it's the Knicks. No, it's the Knicks. It's Brunson. Brunson is definitely the best player here. Okay. I love Cade. Cade is rising quick. I think Cade. Man, it's tough because I think you could argue Cade as high as 2.
I
honestly,
know.
And I wouldn't be mad at it.
That's what I was getting at. I was curious if you were going to say Cade because,
Brunson's been doing it. Brunson's been doing it for a few years now. I'm not going to take that away from Brunson. I think Cade might be 2 though. Like, I mean, it's Cade or it's Cat or I guess it's Bridges, but I don't know. I'm not quite there. I don't think Bridges is better than Cat is necessarily.
And they do have a young team. I know that has been heavily noted by us and everybody. But you do have, like you said, Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder. I would say Immaculate Grid OG Dennis Schroeder for us.
Oh, yeah.
And Tobias Harris, who obviously have experience. And I'm telling you right now, if at any point in this playoff series Tobias hits a game-winning corner 3, I will stop watching the NBA.
I swear to God, I'm with you. I'll cancel the buy. I'm going to immolate if that happens. I did, dude, one weird Pistons thing. Paul Reed a few weeks ago tweeted, they're like, man, they thought I was the problem in Philly. And I just started laughing because I'm like, who on earth thought Paul Reed was the problem here? I was like, I feel like we all kind of liked Paul Reed. Like, I have no beef with Paul Reed. He was a solid backup big for a while. Like, I'm just laughing. I was like, who scapegoated Paul Reed? Like, whatever fuels you, buddy. I'm glad it's working in Detroit, but it's like, dude, I don't think the Philly fans, it's not like Tobias, put it that way.
I think, I know right off the rip, I kind of wrote off the Pistons. I think it will be some clashes. It'll be an awesome game to watch.
It's going to be competitive for sure. The Pistons aren't going to get like chumped around like that.
No, but I don't think the Knicks will either. And so
the Knicks are winning this series. Don't get me wrong. I'm not losing my mind.
Yeah, the Knicks will take it home, in my opinion. I saw Brandon Jennings say the Pistons take it in 6 or 7 against the Knicks, which would be crazy.
So here's a question for you. Knicks question early. Where does this team need to go for you? Because I think we all know Tibbs is on the hot seat big time. Where do you think? Yeah, man. If they lose in the second round to Boston, do you think Tibbs loses his job?
No.
You think, what if they get killed by Boston? I'm talking like 5 games. What if it's like a 5-game series?
I don't think so.
See, I think if they get crushed by Boston, I think Tibbs might be out.
If
they lose to Detroit, Tibbs is definitely out.
Well, you gotta. If you lose to Detroit, a lot of changes are coming your way. Like,
I think so too.
Yeah, which would be wild because you guys did a ton of changes in the offseason. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, just go look at the roster that the Knicks have, and that shouldn't be that should be losing. The problem is, like, you lose to Boston, regardless of how it's a blowout or anything like that. But like, you lost to Boston. Like, They're a juggernaut. So like, part of me is like, I get it. And that's kind of the opposite. And that's, well, not the opposite. Every Pistons blog I've been reading, the big thing that they're taking away from this compared to their, I think it was 2019 was their last playoff run. I want to say they got swept by Giannis and the Bucks. I might have that wrong. I think that was it. But their whole point was their whole point in the article was essentially what I brought up to you was that is Cade the best player? Because they were arguing, you know, when they lost to Giannis was clearly the best player. He might have been the best first two players on the court. Whereas in their opinion, they have the best player now, and they are the one that will have the upper hand and can take the dogfight to the Knicks who aren't ready for it or are a little softer now because they've got the experience or been there. And I don't agree with it, but I could see the argument. I'm down to hear that argument.
The argument is there is that the Pistons have played tough all year, and I do think they will play the Knicks tough the way that they have the entire season. Like, that's pretty clearly their identity at this point. I also think the Pistons just generally have the advantage that underdog teams have they're playing with house money right now. Like, the Knicks, it's a like DEFCON 1 tragedy for the Knicks if they lose this series to the Detroit Pistons. Like, could you imagine if that happened, like you said, with all the money that they spent this offseason, with all the big name acquisitions they brought in, with Mikal Bridges, with Karl Anthony Towns, spending all that draft capital? Like, that's an earth-shattering series loss for the Knicks. Where, like, the Pistons, this is already an objectively successful season for them. Like, they're out of the play-in game. They were the worst team maybe we've ever seen in the NBA history last year, and they are back in the playoffs this year, and we're talking about them competing with a team that spent $1 zillion in the offseason. Like, yeah, you got to give the Pistons a ton of credit. Again, I think the Knicks are going to win this series. I'm not fully off the cliff yet, but like that Cade Brunson argument, you're right. I mean, it's certainly closer than it was with Giannis, especially at that time. Like that Pistons team had Blake Griffin, who was still very good, but yeah, there was nobody. I mean,
was that year? Was 2019 Giannis's MVP year? Off the top of your head, Giannis MVP year?
Oh God, it might be. It definitely might be. I'm not 100%, but that sounds right.
MVP year. Let me see.
I don't remember if he got
2019. Oh, yeah. He won it 2018, 2019, and 2019, 2020. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Okay. Yeah. This is via MVP year. It's also worth mentioning, just because I have it up still, the last 15 games, the Pistons have a better net rating than the Knicks, better offensive, but a little softer on the defensive side. So they're a pretty evenly matched team, at least in the last few games, rolling into the playoffs.
It's going to be a fun series. I mean, that's what, I said it at the top of this Eastern Conference preview, but like, I'm really excited for these 3-6 and these 4-5 series. Like, I think they're really going to be competitive. Like, Indy and Milwaukee is the early one that I would say that's going to be one that goes the distance. Like, I could see this being definitely a 7-gamer. I've got Indy in 6, but yeah, this is a pretty even matchup. Like, we've talked about, to me, how Milwaukee's been up and down all year. Now having to play without Dame Lillard. Again, just Indy too, going on that conference finals run. Like, I think playoff experience matters. And just more importantly, like, I feel like the Pacers played their best ball of the season down the stretch. Like, I feel like they were kind of like up and down. I mean, especially Halliburton. Halliburton was horrendous at the beginning of the season. And I mean, he's definitely looked more like Tyrese Halliburton as of late, which they need him to be. Like, he's averaging 18 and 9 on the season. Like, he has to be that superstar. But, Pascal Siakam's had a strong season. You've got Benedict Mathurin healthy again. They went out and got some good vets with Nesmith and Nembhard. Like, I don't know. I feel like this team is just like, they've got a little more depth than Milwaukee does. I guess that's where I'm at, why I think they're going to be able to win this series.
Yeah, I think for the Bucks, you can win this series if you can slow the Pacers' transition down, like you mentioned, flustered Hallie. Again, alluding to my Ballin and Fallin, a little return of Lillard's spark might also go a long way with the team morale. I also noticed that the Indiana Pacers are 28th in rebounds per game, and the Bucks actually were 22nd. But if the Pacers give up too many in glass or in the paint opportunities, second chance points, that could really end up, biting them in the you know what. So they got to get on the boards, they got to get on the glass, they got to box out, which makes me sound like a fifth grade basketball coach. But damn, it sounds so elementary. But I mean, when you're doing it against the Bucks and you have to do it against Giannis, it's not as easy as it seems. Obviously, maybe Kuzma being a little consistent would help that situation. I did see that the no duo in the NBA combined more or scored more than Giannis and Lillard together. They were at 55.3 points per game. So that would be again a huge spark for the offense. Again, it'd probably be too soon. I think if they even went to game 5, that would be April 29th. So that's 10 days, 11 days from now. I think it goes longer, but I think it's Bucks in 6.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've got the best player in the series, no doubt about it, in Giannis. And when you look at Indy's roster, like they don't really have anybody to guard him. In a way, it's almost like, do you just let Giannis go and have to be the superhero and try to just shut down everybody else? I mean, he's certainly capable of it. It's weird though with the Bucks, right? Like I think this is, we talked about at the top, like with Donovan Mitchell, about guys who have a lot at stake in these playoffs. Like I think Giannis is another one where it's like if the Bucks flame out, especially in the first round against Indy, and they have another early exit, like they won the championship. And that's why it's always like, you're never going to be like, oh man, it can't be done. They won the championship in 2021. They have won one playoff series since that championship in 2021. Like, and that's with trading for Dame Lillard, a move that, I think they really thought would springboard them post Drew Holiday. They've just been kind of running in place for a little bit. And like when you trade Chris Middleton for Kuzma, like I think we all agree that didn't feel like it was the move that was going to get them over the top. But they early flame out. Giannis watch, we might be on officially. And Giannis having won a title in Milwaukee, I think, he's done his part. His legacy is secure there no matter what. And if he wants to be the stay-at-home guy his whole career, so be it. I don't think anybody will fault him for that. But it's like, it feels like he wants to compete. And that's where I think you start to look around a little bit.
Well, but I think he's still competing. Like, yes, I understand you're not winning playoff games.
Then is he competing?
But like, where would be the next location that you would be in a better position to be competing right now? Like Dame in theory is coming back from blood clots. You're the highest scoring duo. Maybe it's just a few tweaks of the guys around you and you're good to go. And maybe Doc Rivers doesn't, return, but that could also be part of it. You know what I mean?
Those should try really hard. Houston. Yeah. They should be trying really hard at Kevin Durant this summer too. And we have a long way to talk about that. But I look around and I go, you look at teams that could really cash in and are Pistons right there right now.
Pistons. Yeah, those new blood in the playoffs that don't have the experience this year.
Yeah, the Pistons, I mean, playing with Cade is intriguing. But it's like, I wonder if the Pistons have the like win now assets the way where it's like, no, Houston is already the 2 seed in the West.
I agree, but like Pistons, I mean, I know we were just talking about their roster, and it would obviously depend on whatever you're able to use to get, a Giannis or a KD. But if you had like Cade, Beasley, Tobias, Ivy, like I don't know. You can definitely Paul Reed, who we even jokingly talked about, but like, you can keep. I think you could still have a decent core there to start, and then you still got names as depth, Thompson and stuff like that. It would depend on what it took to get him,
Well, yeah, I would say Osar Thompson is the minimum of what's going out the door if they're making an actual trade for it.
That's why I didn't say him at first, because I figured he would be the one that has to go. And I'm sure more of what I said would have to go with the hauls that have been going around. But like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, if you're KD or you're Giannis, again, you just looked at what was going on in the West compared to the East, and you're like, maybe I'm coming back out East a little bit, and we're gonna make sure we're never playing in a play-in tournament. And yeah, we're good to roll. If KD goes to the Pistons, third favorite to win it all, probably.
No
You
way.
don't think?
No way.
You don't think?
No way. They'd have to give up way too much. KD is not winning a title yet. They'd have to fill it out, but like I think they lose a lot of what filled it out. No, I don't. Detroit's not ready to win right this second. Like I look at there's two for Kevin Durant. There's two teams, and I'm falling victim to our own thing. That's what we were going to talk about this.
Now we're in it.
No one else. KD should really do. Honestly, OKC, man, he should go home to OKC and win the title, finish the job at home. But the problem is they also might win the title this year. So that's the thing is, it's like if they win the title this year, why would you blow it up?
And again, I know we talked here's why he can't do that. This will be seen almost more egregious, if not as egregious, as the Warriors jump.
No way, Justin. The Warriors won 73 games when Kevin Durant went there. That was that was so flagrant and everybody knew it. OKC hasn't won yet. Golden State had won before.
OKC this year was 6 wins off from a 72-game season?
I hear you. I'm just saying, if OKC disappoints in the playoffs again, because this core has not won, Golden State had won at the time, KD going home and getting them over the top and winning a title where it all started, I think obviously huge for OKC getting number 1 in franchise history, but I think that does wonder. It's not Cleveland level for LeBron, but I think that boosts KD's legacy big time. I don't know. Though, to be fair, I think KD winning anywhere at this point, separate of Steph, would boost his legacy big time.
I agree. It will boost his legacy if he wins. I don't think it will help you just go to the team that's like right on the cusp and you just give him that little flick to get him over the edge. Like,
yeah, but Golden State didn't need the flick. That was the problem. Is that team didn't need the flick at all. It was overkill. Like you were taking the Death Star and shooting an ant with it. Like, now with OKC, I don't think it might. Like, you might need that spark and that flick. I mean, same with Houston. Like, maybe you do. And I'm also like writing Houston off as if like they may not go on a run this season, which is very, very possible. We'll talk West again in a little bit.
But I would say if I'm Houston, maybe I don't want to say
Houston should absolutely be trying to trade for Kevin Durant this offseason.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Regardless of what you do, I think you still go after KD.
I agree.
Even if
short of winning the title, you win the title, it's a little more complicated. You win the whole thing,
you're still trying to trade for KD, and that's why I backed off. I was like, actually, if I win the whole thing, maybe I don't mess with it.
If OKC does not win the title this year, they should 1,000% be trying to trade for Kevin Durant, unless it's like a 7-game loss to Boston. If you give me a 7-game loss to Boston, all right.
If Houston wins the whole thing,
you should. No, then I don't think you need to blow it up. Absolutely not. If you win the whole title and everybody's that young, like I don't think you need to at that point. Like it's just an unnecessary decision.
Yeah.
Either way, we'll get to the West here in a second. Welcome everybody to the Driving Dish NBA podcast. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me as always, my co-host Justin Cousart.
I realized I already gave my tweet, the Brandon Jennings one.
Oh yeah, but I mean, listen, Brandon Jennings. I was going to say, he's kind of got some, like, I mean, with Milwaukee and with Detroit, I was going to say they're not going to play each other, but, almost a little bit of, like, conflicting allegiances there for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, shout out to him for being loyal to Detroit and saying that for them. Detroit's going to be feisty, like we talked about. Like, I don't think that's going to be an easy series for the Knicks, but I think the Knicks win that series. Like, my Eastern picks in the first round are chalky. They're the 4 top seeds. Like, my upset special, I guess, would be Milwaukee over Indy, but, like, is that an upset special, if you will?
No, not. I mean, I guess it technically is, but not like a crazy one.
The chalkiest upset of all time.
It's crazy. Brandon Jennings' career games. He did 82 his rookie season in 2009 to 2010. He did 61 in 10 to 11, 66 from 11 to 12, 80 back-to-back seasons, Milwaukee and Detroit. And then never played over 41 after that.
Yeah.
48 in 15-16. So never played over 48 games after that. It looks like he might have gotten 16-17. He got healthy, but he wasn't playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a steep fall off. I mean, you want to go back like way in the vault and listen to like some season 1, season 2 episodes where it's like, dude, Brandon Jennings was scoring like 20 a game at that point, or around 20. Like he was a big contributor. He was a starter.
Fun fact, he cannot be one of the options for 20 points per game in a season, though. For Milwaukee, he had 19.1.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He was close.
It's wild too, though, because you're right. Like he was out of the NBA at 28 years old, and granted, he came in at 20, so like he had a long, solid 8-year career. But like, right, for a guy who was putting up fairly substantial numbers early in his career, for him to have an 8-year career does feel a little weird.
Yeah, and on a decent amount. I mean, like for 8 years, he did Milwaukee, Detroit, Knicks, Orlando, Washington. Like he bounced around a good bit. In that time. It says 9-year, but I'm only counting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess the 9 was the bounce.
Oh, rate. Yeah. I mean, I guess he's 20, 2000. Yeah. I mean, 2009 to 2018. Yeah, that's 9 years.
Yeah. So
we can math a little bit.
By the way, you want to talk about a wild Immaculate Grid connect would be Orlando, Washington. He played 25 and 23 games for them. Even the Knicks, I bet people like only 58 games. So like you could probably get that weird connect there. Obviously, he'll be known more for Milwaukee and Detroit because he got over 100 games with those two. But that's the Immaculate Grid sneaker right there.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And we'll dive into Immaculate Grid later on in the podcast. Like we said, we're going to talk some West as well. Who's balling, who's fallen. So stay tuned for that. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. We'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
And you can find us on Drive and Dish NBA. Shout out to on YouTube, I should say, where you can find us because there's video versions of the podcast. Shout out to Randy Goldberg, newest follower, followed us a few hours ago.
All right.
No comment, so I guess just enjoying the content, which we'll appreciate and accept, and we thank you for that.
Yes, sir. No doubt about it. Now a word from our sponsors.
So we take it over to the West. Sorry, I pulled up Immaculate Grid and I realized I was starting to cheat, so I'm backing off of it. Only because I think there might be an Alfred Payton connected. I thought
you were going to say it was Brandon Jennings. I was like, I mean, look, we talked about it. Maybe fire one up.
Brandon Jennings, Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think. Right. But anyway, we'll go back to that. So again, we can kind of get the chalky stuff out of the way. OKC and whoever comes out and is their matchup between Grizz and the Mavs. I don't care. It's a sweep.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Man. All right. It's a sweep. I was going to say if it was Memphis, I was going to give them one. You're right. I mean, I think OKC is going to roll here. They obviously have much larger expectations. The more I think about it, because you brought up earlier or at the beginning with OKC winning 68 games, that's so like slept on. I feel like when you consider that basically every one of their players missed, other than SGA, missed a pretty substantial amount of time. I mean, Chet Holmgren was hurt, Caruso was hurt, Hartenstein started the season not playing. Like that's it's certainly an impressive season. And I mean, I think there are a lot of metrics that, you kind of look at OKC the way we all looked at Boston last year, where it's like, no, they've been the best team from start to finish. Every number is showing it. Are we kind of underthink? And this is something that Sam and I talked about a little bit too a few weeks ago, where it's like, are we not giving OKC enough credit to be like the wide favorites here? I think because Boston is on the other side of the bracket, and I think they're playing well too, that I think that's why I'm not like running away with it as well. But yeah, I mean, it's title or bust for this Thunder team right now. Like everything is clicking. They certainly shouldn't be struggling. I mean, I'm hoping that Memphis wins just because I think Memphis can give a little bit more of a competitive series than Dallas is. Like if it's Dallas, I think this is a 4-game sweep. And it's certainly a very anticlimactic version of the playoff series that they had compared to last year. But Yeah, I mean, regardless, like Memphis is one of those teams too, which I mean, we knew that when they fired Taylor Jenkins, but like I'm interested to see what they do this offseason. Like if we keep seeing this main trio of Jaren Jackson, John Morant, and Desmond Bane.
Well, and I'm trying to see. I was trying to pull it up, but it's not going to go. I was going to ask you if you thought OKC could have gotten closer to the 72 if Chet wasn't out for, however long he was at the beginning there. But
Sure.
I don't, right. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's the part that's crazy to me. There it is. I'm trying to pull it up. So he missed like, what is this, from 49 down to 10. So yeah, he missed like 30, 40 games. And they lost they lost a few of them, and they were all close ones. The one against Houston was like they probably could have pulled a few of these games, which would have been real interesting. And maybe to your point, they wouldn't be as slept on, if the national media was around them being like, we're on 72 watch, but not that necessarily matters. I know Chet was out the last few games with back spasms, so I guess maybe something to keep an eye on. But yeah, man, I think even if Boston's on the other side, OKC should be the wild favorites right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue when you look at all the underlying metrics. They've got some big goals this season.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, I get what you mean by title or bust or finals or bust or whatever it is. But I don't think we mean bust as in like you got to blow it up after. Like I think you still.
Oh no. Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, this OKC team is so young and loaded, and like they have all. No. Title or bust means it feels like it's just going to be a disappointing season for OKC if they don't win the title this year.
Right.
Like I feel like those are the expectations you should have with this team. You the best record in the regular season. Like you absolutely have to feel like you're going to bring home the title this year.
And I do get the conversation of if you lose to Boston this year and you're OKC and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you go, what else can we do to take us over the top?
I don't think you need to. I mean, I know the Kevin Durant thing. I don't think you need to look at anything crazy though. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing is like you built yourself and the vision of seeing this plan through. Like you built yourself such a runway here that I mean, look. Knock on all the wood on earth, but like, look at if that Sixers pick drops out of top 6, you got another high first rounder coming in next year. There is a lot of flexibility there. So I don't think they're going to be too stressed no matter what, but I do think they'll roll in this series. Houston and Golden State at 2-7. And this is something that you and I talked a little bit about last week is where it was like Golden, do you really want to target this series at 7 where it's like, because Houston has never been here before, Golden State, obviously a ton of experience. You've got playoff Jimmy, who was already on full display in the play-in game against Memphis, like 38 points, just absolutely huge when they needed him to. Kept him in for most of the game. Steph hit a few shots late. Golden State, that's the thing is like they started to stumble a little bit down the run, but like this is where Jimmy Butler makes his money, right? Like you're trying to get over the top. Obviously, he's more motivated than anybody to bring home a title at this point, like get that notch in his career. I think he knows the opportunity as well of playing with Steph Curry on this run. Houston at the same token, they beat him 3 times this season in 4 matchups. They certainly have the defensive personnel. I mean, Amen Thompson, especially, like he was phenomenal when they played Steph Curry last game. Like there are many people who can get Steph like that. And Amen feels like one of them. Like that's really the story of this Houston team, right? Is depth. They kind of did their job down the stretch too. I think this is going 7 and oh man, I go back and forth on this. I really don't know. Like I want to every time because like I was ready to come in initially and be so hot and be like, Golden State's got it. I don't know. Home court though in game 7, like
yeah.
It's that experience question is going to loom large in this series for sure. But and that's kind of where the vets help out, right? Like that's where Dylan Brooks helps out, where Fred VanVleet helps out.
Yeah, it just sucks. The Warriors are going to come out, win the first 2 games, and then close it out at the end. They'll give up 3 in a row, and then they'll.
Wow! You were a full drama of the roller coaster.
Yeah,
I like
we
it.
want the whole roller coaster here. Warriors come out hot because of the inexperience of the Rockets. Warriors win the first 2 games, Rockets take game 3, 4, 5, go up 1. Warriors tie it and then close it out. Lock it down.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean,
That would be fun though. That would be fun to watch.
it would be
I
fun.
think for probably any other team than maybe the Warriors, but I mean like any other team as in like Timberwolves, Clippers, I think were the other two that were kind of in that conversation. I think would have wanted this matchup more than maybe the Warriors do. But the problem is the Warriors don't want the Lakers or the Nuggets either. So yes, the Rockets are potentially your more favorable route, and that's what I'll say. I don't know if it actually pans out for them. I would have more faith in like a Clippers or a Timberwolves to maybe take advantage of that than the Warriors right now. And that feels weird to say with Jimmy and Steph doing their thing, but I think the Rockets do actually take it home.
I don't think I agree with Minnesota being more equipped there. But I'll agree. I mean, I think the Rockets are going to take it home. Like, we're probably discounting too. Like, the Rockets have been good against good teams.
Yeah.
OKC, shout out to Yahoo for this. OKC, Cleveland, and Boston are the only ones who have better against teams with winning records.
Wow.
Like, Houston was number 4 overall in defense this season. Like, and they have the perimeter guys. Like, it's not just Thompson too. Like, obviously we know what Dylan Brooks does, and we know he's going to certainly, like, him and Draymond is going to be must see TV as always. But even also a guy like Eason. Like, Eason's a guy who's been really. Oh my God. Yes. What can they both get ejected at the same time?
I would put my money on Brooks. I feel like Draymond's a little more like calm, which seems weird to say. Like in his older age, he's kind of gotten a little more like level headed. He's not kicking people in the nuts anymore, or at least haven't seen it in a minute. So like maybe I'd lean Dylan on that one, but either way.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be wild, no doubt about it. I mean, for Houston, that win against Golden State in the NBA Cup, I mean that was almost like their coming out party. So it's almost kind of fitting that they have it now. Warriors been great. Like when Draymond and Steph and Jimmy are all on the floor together, they've been 23-5. Like it's spicy. I think it's going 7. I'm gonna lean. I think. Oh my God, I'll go Golden State. Fine, I'll go Golden State in 7. If you're going Houston 7, we'll do a little bit of variety here, but it's going to be close. Like I think this could arguably be the series of the first round, as I think a lot of people are predicting. All right, 3 and 6. You got the Lakers and you got the Timberwolves. Luka v. Ant. Minnesota trying to, get back, avenge a little bit of conference finals from last year, but obviously like quite different. The Lakers, as it goes without saying, are a quite different roster as well from the beginning of the season.
It feels weird. It feels weird to say that I feel like the Timberwolves have more to lose here.
Interesting. Why do you say that?
Because of how great they were last year. And the Lakers kind of getting the bailout with the Lucas stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like obviously that gets them to the 3 seed, so there's expectations now. You're kind of like, oh, maybe we got something here. But I feel like the Timberwolves, they end the season like 3rd in the West last year or something like that. So they had a little bit of a slide. And then you come in and you get beat by the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs this year. Like I feel like you're not feeling great about it at that point.
Yeah, it's tough because the roster is so different. But you're right. I think when you blew it up, then I think it's like, hey, you get people that start to second guess. I mean, the other part of me is like Minnesota did play better in the second half of the season, and
yes, they did.
When you had such a radical change the way you did with bringing Julius Randle, with bringing DiVincenzo, and like learning, like there was a curve with that, and I think that partially showed at the beginning of the season. Ant's been pretty consistent all year long, like averaging 27 points. Like that's not your problem, and really, I mean. Where you worry is you wonder like how real is it, because Minnesota just they played a soft schedule at the end of the season.
Yeah.
They also just beat everybody on it for the most part. So it's like, am I really going to fault them for handling their business? Like they did exactly what we asked them to do, got themselves out of the play-in game.
Interesting note. And I know we can kind of use almost what you just said as a counter to this. In the last 15 games, the Lakers actually have a negative net rating. Their offensive was a 117.3, defense was a 118. Timberwolves offense was a 121 and defense was a 111.2. So they have a 9.8. That's actually the fifth best in the NBA in the last 15. So like if that's showing anything, that's showing that like the media hype around the Lakers is more media hype than it is the team clicking like that. And the Timberwolves, again, an easier schedule, but that 9.8 is pretty that's fourth in the NBA. So the only teams above that are Boston, OKC, and the Clippers, actually.
Yeah, and I mean it is. You're not wrong about that. I don't think the Lakers hype is necessarily media hype, but
Mhm.
I mean the Lakers, it's weird. Like the personnel is kind of making defense work because they don't have, and we said that since the Mark Williams trade fell through, is it's like they don't really have that traditional big. Like no disrespect to Jackson Hayes, but like he's been the only guy there but they got a lot of versatility. Like, you
Mhm.
got a guy like, Hachimura can play a lot of positions and otherwise defensively, that's where guys like Jared Vanderbilt, for example, is great. Getting Finney Smith, who I thought was an underrated acquisition for them,
Mhm.
it will really help them on the defensive end. Minnesota, the biggest things you got to watch or that I want to watch is it's like, how late does Gobert play? Do they have Gobert on the floor at the end of the games, or do they kind of go small with Naz Reid?
Mhm.
There's otherwise, a lot of the usual suspects who I think tend to excel in playoff ball will hear a little bit. Like Alexander Walker, for example. I think he's a made for the playoffs type guy. Julius Randle hasn't been in the past necessarily the best playoff performer. I think that's another big thing to watch there too. And just, you know, ironic with LeBron on the floor, but it's like Mike Conley too. You want to see what he's got left in the tank. Like, can he make a difference in the playoffs like later in his career like this?
Yep.
It's gonna again. This is gonna be a close series. Like I've got Lakers in 6. I could see this going 7, honestly, and like maybe I'm underrating Minnesota a bit. Because you're right. Like a lot of the statistics, especially since March, do show them playing really well and playing kind
Mhm.
of better than some of these other teams.
Which the easy counter to that is they had a softer schedule, but you can only play who you play. And if it was a softer schedule, sometimes you can play to your opponent, and it doesn't look that way. So
No, it builds confidence too. Like that's so huge
yeah.
with building up that confidence going into the playoffs. Like getting guys into rhythm, getting guys like in the flow of their game. It can get you going in the right direction, no doubt about it.
Mhm.
Clippers and Nuggets. Because you mentioned the Clippers a little bit earlier. I don't know, man. I love what this Clippers team has done down the stretch. And if
Yeah.
Kawhi is healthy, like, and God, that's always the question, right? Is like we've been at points in the playoffs where it's like, hey, we got to get Kawhi healthy. Is he going to be able to hang in for the whole ride? But man, I don't know. You got to feel good the way the Clippers ended the season. Like more than anybody, they just kind of passed the eye test for me too. And look, they have a lot of the usual suspects that I like a lot, right? Like I'm a noted Ty Lue fan. I feel like he gets the best out of everybody, including James Harden, who's had a bit of a career resurgence this year. Like look at Norm Powell, who's having a career year. Like look at Zubats, who's might mess around and win Defensive Player of the Year. Like
Yeah.
they're getting the best out of these guys. And again, with with Kawhi back, like, it's such a weird cycle, Justin, because in 2019 we saw when Kawhi with Toronto and him take them over the top. And it's like this guy is maybe the best player in the NBA when he's healthy. And they're just like it's we've had flashes of it, and you had flashes of it during the Paul George era, but it did kind of look like that era was moving on a little bit when you let PG go, and it just didn't look like Kawhi could stay on the floor. Like
Mhm.
it feels different this go around. And to be honest, like there was a very real question, even when Kawhi would come back, is it's like, what type of efficiency is he going to bring you? Like, is he still that guy? Dude, he looks like it. Like he
Mhm.
looks like Kawhi Leonard. And if Kawhi Leonard's best player in the league type Kawhi Leonard, and you look at how deep the Clippers have been and how well this team played, and we gave them a lot of credit for hanging in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I look around the West and I go like OKC is still my favorite, but it's like when you look at the dark horse teams where I'm like, yo, you can talk me to them getting to the finals. You can get me to the Clippers going all the way to the finals, which I feel like is a spoiler alert for how I think this
Yeah.
series is going, but like they're firing at the right time. There's no doubt about it.
They play one of the slowest paces in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I only bring that up because I find that fascinating because it feels like everyone's going faster, right? The only teams that are in the playoffs that play a slower pace than the Clippers are the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, and I'll add the Orlando Magic in there because they are in there, but they're, whatever.
Right.
They don't necessarily make my argument like the Knicks and the Celtics do. But what's crazy about it, and this is just an observation again, is the Clippers play at a pace of 97.19. The Boston Celtics play at a pace of 93.35.
Which is wild with the amount of threes that they throw up. Like, you just wouldn't expect that to be the team that's playing slower. And I mean, it makes sense, but like, that is kind of bizarre.
To be fair, this is the last 15 games. Like, going into the playoffs, this is the last 15 games doing that. And the Knicks, who are actually tied with the Kings for pace, that's 96. So the Boston Celtics are playing like a significantly slower pace of basketball than the entire NBA. To give you an idea of the fastest in the last 15 would be the Bulls and the Raptors. Actually, that's kind of funny. The Bulls at 104.40. So that's a good spread. That's a good amount difference. So it just kind of shows that it seems, at least, the more, I guess I want to say, the teams that feel like they reek confidence in themselves play a slower pace between the Celtics and Knicks a little bit more. I wouldn't put like the Kings and Orlando in that, or the Suns, but at least from those top two there, it feels that way. And I would also say the Clippers too. They play their style of ball. They know Kawhi is going to be there, and now he is there, and it's like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, for the Nugs, we know what it is. Like, Jokic is out of his mind this year. He could very well swing this series on his own. And for the Clippers, it's like, you got Zubac. You do actually like that a little bit, but it's like, Jokic is going to be Jokic. For me, it's like, Murray is the key here. Like, when you get Murray to 20 and more, and Denver's been great this year. It's where they've struggled is when on nights where he's been off, and obviously we know he's dealt with injuries, but it's like, I feel like the Clippers just need to be blitzing Jamal Murray, and it's like, let Jokic do Jokic. But this is a big opportunity where it's like, man, you got to make Denver's depth, which has come into question, and a lot of points beat you.
Well, and I think a little bit. I almost say let Jokic from the scoring side, sure. But if you can eliminate the assist side, the ball movement side, then you have something there. Because really, you look at the team stats between the two, the points per game stick out. Nuggets are around 120 a game, and the Clippers are only at 112. So how do you bring that down? Well, you're looking at it, it's like, their assists, they're averaging 31 assists a game. Take away a few of those, and a lot of it's from Jokic because he's averaging triple doubles. So, like, if you can stop the ball flow movement through Jokic, you're going to be feeling real good about yourself. Now, is that's easier said than done. So we'll see where it goes. But that would be my first approach: is how do you stop Jokic on the ball movement side, not necessarily the scoring side as much, the ball movement side, because I think it's one of those things. If you can fluster the ball movement side, then I think a little bit of the scoring side also slows down on him.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's a good point. Like, I think you're absolutely right in trying to slow that down. Like, I mean, even, the ultimate representation of that, right, is the 60-point triple double. It's where it's like, look what he did to you in that game. And I mean, he still had 10 assists, but, they lost that game. It is about the supporting cast. Again, tough. Feel like I've been saying this a lot in the Western Conference, but it's like, I've got this this could go 7 games to me, and I wouldn't be surprised.
I think so too. I would be interested to see the Nuggets record this season when Jokic had less than like 8 assists in a game. I'd be curious to see what it's at.
Yeah, it's got to be low.
Yeah, well, I'll see if I can find that stat. I doubt that's easy to find, but
yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that. We're digging. But yeah, I got Clippers in 7. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. Who's balling? Who's falling? Our NBA version of the stock market. We always like start with the good before the bad. So balling for me this week, I've got Rob Pelinka, who is signing a multi-year contract extension for the Lakers as president and GM. When you trade for Luka Doncic, I feel like that goes without saying that you're going to get that extension.
You're gonna get it.
I also have no idea if Rob Pelinka is good as his job. And I'm going to say that over and over again because it's like the Luka thing kind of fell in your lap. LeBron kind of fell in your lap. A lot of the moves around the edges, like they've been okay, I guess. Like it's one of these things where it's like, I have no idea how to truly evaluate this guy, but like good for him because it's working, it seems like.
Yeah. Again, it's the Luka effect, right? You deserve it. If you can go land Luka, then land Luka. I do wonder what the conversation would be if he wasn't able to land Luka. Like, and again, I think the record looks significantly different at that point, So there's also that, but
yeah, 100%. Like if the Lakers were hanging around the play-in, I don't know that they, maybe they wouldn't be doing this extension. We'll see. But who's balling for you this week?
Balling for me is trying to click through all these Jokic assists. Holy hell.
So many.
This might have been a mistake to try to do because the problem is Basketball Reference doesn't let you click individual games. If you click down, so I gotta figure this out. So but while we're doing that, my Ballin goes to Mike. Oh no, I got him backwards.
Mike is not balling this week.
Well,
Mike is definitely falling.
We're gonna whoops. Okay, so Mike's gonna be falling. A little preview. My Ballin is gonna be Dame, who we've alluded to a few different times, but it sounds like he might be able to make a return this playoff run from the deep vein thrombosis, the blood clot stuff that was in his right calf. He was diagnosed with it on March 18th, or he's been out since March 18th. He was diagnosed with it March 25th. I guess they took him off blood thinners. They said Doc Rivers said it's come so quickly on us that we were thinking he's gone, and now it's like 99% positive that he is going to be back at some point this year. So, like I said, depending on when that happens, that could be a huge boost and morale change for any series with the Bucks.
Oh, it's remarkable medically, no matter what. I mean, the fact, like we said, with how deep it is with the blood, with blood clots, like all the worries and concerns you have, and now here Dame Lillard is already back and like we said, clear to be on the court. I mean, the only game they definitively ruled him out of is game 1. I mean that's pretty remarkable. Definitely, and like major kudos to his doctors, of course. All right, falling for me this week is Monte McNair, who immediately after, you got to give them credit. This was so fast. Immediately after the Kings got bounced out of the play-in with Dallas, they decided to move on from Monte McNair. A guy who made, listen, a lot of deals, like bringing in DeRozan this offseason, like making the De'Aaron Fox trade, getting Zach LaVine back, but no doubt about it, a majorly disappointing end for Sacramento, especially when you look at the team they lost to in Dallas. So we don't need to, repeat everything that's happened there again. But this is an interesting offseason because it is like when you look at where this team is at and you look at, kind of the age of some of your main guys with, DeRozan, with LaVine and with Sabonis, like you start to look around. I mean, even like the Malik Monks of the world, and you go, hey, how close is this team to actually winning anything? They might be a kind of a reset button candidate.
Yeah. And I mean, that sucks for Kings fans because it's like, dude, you guys just started to feel like you were coming out of it, like there was some positive momentum, but
they got the 3 seed. That was the apex of a 3 seed a few years ago.
But then, the trades this year, and it just, it feels a little, it feels a little reset-ish.
Yeah, I think no doubt about it. Yeah. Who is possibly falling for you this week, Justin?
How could we ever know? It's Mike Budenholzer, who is also fired just one day after their final game with the Phoenix Suns. I don't think that's any surprise. I think most coaches, if you had the lineup, the star power that the Suns had, and you didn't make the playoffs, regardless of situation, you're probably also gonna be shown the door.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't even know. Again, Phoenix had a lot going on and will have a lot going on this offseason, namely with Kevin Durant trade. But you're right. For Budenholzer, like, it just didn't really work the first year. Like, he's a guy who it feels like is meant for more of like a winning situation now anyway. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think this is the first of many big changes coming for Phoenix. But All right, shall we play some Immaculate Grid?
We shall. Sorry, I've only made it into 5 games of my Jokic dive.
Me thinks this is a next week project, or we'll have to figure that out.
Currently they are 3-2 when he averages less than 8. So whatever. Maybe I'm over it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, gotta move on at some point.
Can you see the Immaculate Grid?
Yeah, sorry. I clicked on a tab there. That's great podcasting for me, let me tell you. All right. So, and for the Immaculate Grid users, as always, if you want to watch, just search Driving Dish NBA podcast on YouTube. Before the podcast, listeners, our columns this week from left to right are the Hawks, the Pistons, and born outside the U.S. 50 states and D.C. Our rows from top to bottom are the Thunder, the Warriors, and the Cavs. Justin, I'll start with you. What are we thinking this week?
Feel like, well, we have Schroeder.
Immaculate Grid, darling Dennis Schroeder actually works for that entire top row. He works for Born Outside. Yeah. He works for Pistons and Thunder, and he works for Hawks and Thunder as well.
And I feel like Elfrid Payton works for OKC, born outside the States. I thought he was.
No, dude. Elfrid Payton is very American.
Yeah, are you sure? I thought he was in France or something.
No. He's very American. I think he's from like Louisiana, dude.
I'm gonna look it up. Elfrid. I should know this. I actually should know like his address.
I was gonna say, this is your boy. You definitely should know this.
Born in Louisiana. Yep.
Yeah, right. Yep. Nowhere very, very much in America.
In Gretna. Gretna.
Yeah, maybe Gretna. I don't know. Someone in Louisiana will be able to tell us.
Yeah, I believe it's Gretna, Louisiana. So, not Elfrid Payton.
Not Elfrid Payton. I mean, do you want to use Dennis? We've been talking about him.
Yeah, where do you want to? Which one though?
Like, he just got to Detroit, so I feel like maybe Detroit. Like, I mean, he started his career in Atlanta, and I feel like the casual fans associate with him over Atlanta.
That's why I'm thinking maybe Atlanta. I'm thinking OKC, born outside the States, might be a little more Schroeder.
It might be. I'd be down for that. I mean, he plays for Team Germany, so I feel like it's kind of known. But OKC's they've had a lot of foreign guys, though. That's the thing.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, you have Chet or not Chet. You have what's his name now? Like, that's a big part of not.
With Gilgeous-Alexander. I was like, wait, with who? I'm like, no.
0.9. Let's go.
Really? I mean, I guess, SGA makes a lot of sense. I mean, even Ibaka, too. Like, Ibaka would think of the Thunder born outside. All right. So let's move down on the list then. Warriors born. I mean, do you want to just knock out the born outside?
Luis Scola. Did he play there? No, yeah, he played. He played at Warriors, right? No, I'm thinking of Zaza Pachulia, right?
Zaza did play the Warriors. He is from outside. My sneaky one, because he'd be a darling for the Warriors and the Cavs, is dude Anderson Varejao, who ended up going to the Warriors. Poor guy didn't get that ring with the Cavs, but Anderson Varejao is from Brazil.
I feel like Varejao would be more likely to be used for the Cavs.
Definitely for the Cavs. He played the majority of his career with the Cavs. It's not even close. He might be the top answer for the Cavs, honestly.
Yeah. So do you want to go Varejao Warriors and reassess Cavs?
Yeah, I think because we'll get another guy for the Cavs.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say there's no way I can.
I think it's below 8%.
Still a little higher than
that's because that trade last minute, man. That's because that's 8%. That's brutal. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Cavs born outside the U.S. and D.C.
Cavs born outside. Doesn't did Noah play for the Cavs towards the end there?
Joakim Noah?
Yeah. Did he ever end up over there for a second?
No. He has way too much rivalry. That would have been crazy.
That would have been wild.
No, I mean, the main guy that comes to mind for Cavs and born outside U.S. is Zydrunas Ilgauskas. He spent so much of his career there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I feel like there's one. I feel like there's one I'm missing, and I don't know.
Matthew Dellavedova.
Oh yeah,
Delhi,
true,
dude, Delhi.
Yeah, Delhi. Delhi will definitely be high. There's no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
there's no doubt he will not be high on, or he will be high on that list.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like their current. No, I mean, nobody really like major on their current rosters from outside.
Now, but
I mean,
what about the in between years of LeBron and what they have now, when they were just kind of
I,
like
I mean, dude,
fluttering?
I mean, Ricky Rubio. I don't know if they were really fluttering then, but Ricky
Oh,
Rubio.
no, Rubio. I bet people don't associate Rubio with the Cavs, though. I'd go
No,
Rubio.
yeah, I'd go Rubio. I mean, I think you go
I'd go Rubio.
Zagauskas and Bergeau both higher, so we do Rubio.
Or do we want to do Rubio? No, he doesn't work anywhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I'll be surprised if he's really high. Yeah, 5%.
5%. That's crazy. Bergeau is over him for Golden State. That really like blows my mind.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think of some other like obvious ones. James Wiseman works for Detroit and Golden State. That was relatively recent though.
Oh yeah. Okay. We don't have a Harden or like a big name from the three that were on OKC at any point. No. Wait. Doesn't Al Horford work for Hawks OKC?
He does. Yeah, he does for
Fun
sure.
one. That's a fun one. I bet people may not.
Yeah, we do
get.
Horford there. I think it'll be higher, but like I'm fine doing Horford there. Honestly, like yeah,
32 though. Damn.
I'm not surprised on it. Like
That's
Al was
crazy.
in Atlanta for a long time. Like and he's one of their better players. Like it wasn't like he was bad. Like he was great there, obviously.
Yeah, I know, but like still.
No, I know.
All right.
Okay. We use him a lot. OKC, Detroit, Jeremy Grant works.
Oh, Grant's a fun one. Yeah, I like that.
I'm down to do that.
Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
Jeremy. Yeah, right here, right? Jeremy?
Yep.
2015.
Yeah, for sure.
10%. There we go. All right. Hawks, Warriors, Hawks, Cavs, Pistons, Warriors, Pistons, Cavs. Those are the four left for the podcast listeners.
The Golden State, Atlanta, and I know he's going to be high, but it's somebody that always like weirdly associates with that because he's a role player. Ken Bazemore. Ken Bazemore works for Golden State in Atlanta. Yeah.
Ken Bazemore. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to roll with that? We think it's gonna be high or
no, whatever. Full discussion from a production standpoint. We're like at an hour and change right now. So, or like by an hour and change, I mean like an hour and like 15. So I'm kind of like not speed running it, but like I'm definitely not debating in my head as much as I would be otherwise, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Detroit, Golden State. We mentioned Wiseman. Does Sadiq Bey? Oh God, I'm trying to remember where Sadiq Bey works. I always get that one wrong, and I don't know. Like that's always. I feel like I associate him with playing in Golden State, and I don't know why. Because I'm pretty sure he never played there. Sadiq Bey.
Sadiq Bey.
And like he definitely played in Detroit. I just like I feel like I have an imaginary stint in my head with him in Golden State, and I don't know why.
Oh, well, you know who does work for Hawks, Cavs, Corver.
Oh yeah, for sure.
High, though. He'll be high.
Cavs, Pistons, the big one is Ben Wallace. No pun intended. Like Ben Wallace is by far the most popular answer there, I think.
Did Rondo was on the Hawks?
He was confirmed. Never played for the Cavs. Nah, didn't. I'm positive.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because he only teamed up with LeBron in LA. That was the first time. He never teamed up with him and I don't think he was there at the end of his career. Like what was he?
I think he was.
Was Rondo a Cavs then? Because it would be recent. It would be like his last team.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
all right, guess it. Whatever.
Can we?
I trust you. No, I trust you. He definitely played for Lamb. 100%.
Oh yeah, he was definitely. Well, he didn't do a lot of games for either of them. If he did, but he was. Yeah, 5%.
Wow. Yeah, literally last season of his career. Okay, I'm looking at now. 21 games in Cleveland. You're right. Damn. Wow, that was how do I forget that of all the Rondo stops? Like anyway.
All right. So Pistons, Warriors, Pistons, Cavs, and I am going to be honest. I feel like Pistons anything I'm always bad at because I feel like I just never know about the Pistons.
No, I'm even trying to like think of somebody who might be on the roster now.
I mean, did Drummond ever end up on any of them?
Drummond was on. Oh yeah, Drummond was on Cleveland. Dude, Drummond for Cleveland, Detroit. He definitely played for Cleveland for a little bit.
It's like, when in doubt, pick Drummond. Yeah,
yeah, he works. All right, let's just do Wiseman then. We never use Wiseman on the grid, so we can do him there. It's going to be chalky, but whatever. Like, you try to get some new faces in here every once in a while.
42%.
Yeah, 40. Yeah. I mean, listen, it was recent. I get it. All right, let's scroll down. Most popular answers this week. Al Horford for OKC and Atlanta. Reggie Jackson, that's a good one. Yeah, we can say that for OKC and Detroit.
It was the most popular.
That's Wiseman. I mean, yeah, I believe it. Like, I don't think there's a ton of connections there. SGA, who we mentioned, most popular for OKC, born outside the U.S. Yeah, we got a lot of most popular this go around, honestly. Ken Bazemore for Golden State and Atlanta, who we had. James Wiseman for Golden State and Detroit, who we had. Andrew Bogut for Warriors, born outside 50 states. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we didn't mention him at all. It's crazy. Australia. Kyle Korver, who you mentioned, most popular for Cavs and Hawks. Ben Wallace, who I mentioned, most popular for Cavs and Pistons. And Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who we mentioned, most popular for Cavs, born outside the U.S. Our grid one last time. Al Horford, OKC and Atlanta. Jeremy Grant, OKC and Detroit. Dennis Schroeder, OKC, born outside the U.S. Born outside the U.S., Golden State. Anderson Varejao. Ken Bazemore for Warriors and Hawks. James Wiseman for Warriors and Pistons, Rajon Rondo for Cavs and Hawks, Andre Drummond for Cavs and Pistons, and Ricky Rubio for Cavs, born outside the U.S. in 50 states. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Appreciate you guys as always. A little bit of housekeeping. Justin will be off next week, so I'll keep you posted. We'll have a guest there as we break down some playoffs. In the meantime, leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. Get the podcast anywhere you can find a podcast.
And we are on YouTube, Drive and Dish NBA podcast. You can subscribe and also get notifications when a new episode's coming out, just like the podcasts.